Sprague made me laugh.
What's up, man? What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to round 2 of the NBA draft. We ain't got no intro for this, Eric. So hopefully you guys are having a good day. A lot of fallout since the Hansen Yang pick. A lot of stuff to still talk about with your Blazers tonight. We're going to cover it all, but we got 29 more picks. We got 59 picks in total for this year's NBA draft, or at least the second round. Sorry, I've been scrambling before this. The draft second round is starting right now. It's a better setup than last time, but it doesn't really look like Barclays Center. It's at least there's no crowd for this. So, second year in a row of the NBA doing a 2-day draft, and we're gonna see if the Blazers maybe can move into the second round. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Very, very busy. Very, very busy, like always, but happy to sit down, happy to watch some more NBA draft. We got the Suns who traded up, or traded for the 36th pick, then traded up from 36 to 31. I guess there's somebody that they really, really want that was still left on the board. We'll see if it's a Rasheer Fleming or maybe a Cam Jones. Maybe they go for another shooting guard. Or
No, they already said they're taking Fleming.
Oh, when was that reported?
Right after the trade happened.
Oh, well, I never saw it. So shout out to Eric for the spoiler.
I've already congratulated Gabe.
Yeah. It's a good pick, man. They're going with front court size. They needed a power forward, a guy that can shoot. So that'll be the pick at 31. I'm going to get a couple things situated here, and then we'll get the ball rolling, man.
Yeah. As I was saying before, you didn't tell me you were going live, but
I did.
No, you didn't.
I swear I did.
Yeah. Anyways, Brandon Sprague made me laugh this morning because they do like a little video before their show.
Yeah.
And it was his co-host doing it, and he walked into the frame and said, "I'm here for the Yang Bang," and I got a chuckle out of that. So thanks for the early morning laugh.
Yeah, we definitely got Yang banged, man. So definitely got Yang banged yesterday. Do we have a pick? No, but the Blazers could trade for one. We've already seen multiple seconds get traded. So we'll see. We're kind of gonna hang out. We'll talk more about the pick. That's what we have on tap for today. And then round 2 of the ticker, you should be able to update. Eric, are you good on that?
Yeah, just send me the link.
It should just be the same one. It should just be the same one.
That only had the first round on it yesterday, so.
Let me know if it's not. I can ask.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the Phoenix Suns made several trades today. They maneuvered all over the draft board and ended up with 31 and 41. So we'll see what they do with those picks, other than getting Fleming to add to Malawach and Mark Williams that they got yesterday.
Yeah, they're cooking. Gabe dropped a video, had our clip in it of us praising them, and yeah, you know, it'd be fun to praise our own team, but they take the reach of the draft. It was universally panned as such. Comment in chat. Now that everyone has checked out Yang, what are your thoughts? I like the kid. Here's the thing that always happens, man. Here's what always happens. Blazers could draft like one of 60 prospects, and people will convince themselves they like them because they'll just go look at a highlight tape, and the highlight tape will look like a highlight tape. It's highlights, so it'll look good. And then people will fall in love with the prospect based on the highlight tape. And, you know, people are viewing him as a really good passing big man. In the CBA, he averaged more turnovers than assists. But turnovers aren't going to show up on the highlight tape. If you saw a low light tape instead of a highlight tape, you'd probably think something completely different about the kid. So this is just kind of the problem I think we have every year is well, maybe not previous years because everybody knew Scoot, everybody knew Klingon, but some years it's just like the Blazers can draft anybody, and people who maybe don't watch film on prospects and whatnot will just start watching a bunch of highlight tapes and absolutely fall in love no matter what because he's our guy and it's a highlight tape. So that's kind of what I feel like is happening right now. Yeah, it would have happened if they took Cam Jones as well, for example. So,
Yeah,
since that guy's not ours, people aren't going to watch his highlight tape.
exactly. For me, having a day to reflect and think about it, work all day today. I really like Yang. I like the type of player he is. I like just his overall style of game. I do. I mean, this will lead into why I don't think he's right for the Blazers, but I do prefer a little bit more mobile big man. That would be the only thing I can say in terms of like just drafting another center. But so yeah, it has nothing to do with Hansen himself. It was more a case of it just feels weird to draft in today's NBA. And we've even heard Cronin and Chauncey talk about, the Cavaliers playing the two big lineup. And they mentioned it last year with Minnesota making it to the conference finals. Now they ended up trading one of those guys. But in all those cases, they're not the same type of player. It's yet to be seen or work. And I think there's a reason why it doesn't work when you have two kind of drop bigs that aren't good switching onto guards or can't guard on the perimeter. And I mean, maybe they can find a way to make it work, but I just have a hard time when every single analysis, every single professional coach, every single scout, they all say without a doubt the league heads more and more towards positionless basketball and flexibility, diverse ways of guarding players and things like that. And if we're just going to do the traditional old school big route with two guys, I just not one single person will think that knows basketball will think that it could possibly work out with them playing on the floor at the same time. Now, I saw Stephen Vaughn tell you, Tori, well, they were going to draft whoever they're going to draft is going to be a backup because we already have our 5 players. And that's technically correct. But if you draft someone, pretty much all the other centers had a skill set that was different than Klingon. And you could make a case that maybe you could find a way to play them together. And you also, maybe the exception is Malawach. He goes the pick before us at 11. So, but, I could maybe sit here today and say he might be quick enough to be a switchable type defender. Maybe he could be. Now you'd have to figure out the offensive end. But other than that, it's like, as much as I liked the player, I just don't see how, when you have Klingon, your defense improved immensely with Klingon, how drafting that same archetype, and like you mentioned, you very well put yesterday, it's the Blazers are going to have a tough time when they need a counter to what other teams are doing. And if other teams are effectively attacking our bigs, having those two bigs long term, it's going to be an issue against teams that are able to exploit that. So, in my opinion, the pick is, you can look at it two ways. And I completely agree with the people who end up like learning about the player and end up liking him, that's totally fair. He's a fun player in highlights. Like he has some post moves that are cool. The spin baseline, I love that move out of the post. He has some cool passes. He's big. He's got a whole country that's going to be rooting for him, all that kind of stuff. And so like I kind of have to separate him as a player, as a prospect. I had a first round grade on him. Looking back on it, I don't think it's like a huge reach to take him in the teens. But at the same time, it's a weird fit. Even best case scenario, you have two centers that you're not able to adapt against most teams. And in the playoffs, it's all about adapting. It's all about doing this. So long term, I feel like we just made a pick, which we're going to have to get rid of one of our two most recent first round picks eventually. And that just doesn't make a lot of sense why they built their whole draft strategy around getting that archetype. So love the player, just feel like this is one of the worst situations for him, both developmentally, because he's not going to get many minutes on the floor, I don't think, right away at least. And also just in terms of like how you fit. Because if you draft any other position, you can play like 2 point guards at the same time. You might be small, but you're quick and you can get up and run and do some things. Any wing you can play, at the 2 or the 3 or the 4, whatever. Like you can play 3 guard lineups, you can do things. And so you have all these options that you can do. So and if you drafted someone a year after spending the 7th pick on someone, and your strategy is, as Jonathan Evers puts it in chat, oh, well, we're going to eventually trade one of them. Hopefully one of them has good value, whatever. I don't know how that's like a good strategy if you're trying to add to this roster and trying to make it better. But all this, I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing. And at least we added a first round pick, so we have that to be excited about, either as a trade asset or in a couple of years when we go into that draft season, we'll be looking at 2 picks now that year, so that'll be fun. But I do feel like this draft could have been very different. And like I said yesterday, the Blazers better hope that all the players picked between 11 and up through Jokic Jonas at 20 better not pan out or be a star, because that's going to look pretty bad. And maybe Hansen ends up being a star and we look stupid, but it seemed like a weird strategy for a team that had basically said all these same things about Klingon last year.
Agreed. I thought the first pick was going to be at 5 for some reason. I rushed so much to get this stream live. Did not realize Mark Tatum finally is at the podium, and we're going to have the Suns on the clock at 31. Is there a link with like an updated draft order accounting for trades?
There's never been in the past. I don't know.
All right, so... Oh, you froze. Where'd you go? Okay, you're back. All right.
Right.
So who traded for 35 today? That was the Lakers, yeah?
Was it 35? I think so. They gave up cash in the trade, meaning they're hard capped at the second apron.
Yeah, please check for me if you can. I'm going to be asking you about the draft order here throughout this entire stream. Just an FYI.
Well, like every time, I will not know about any of the trades because they don't announce them.
Yeah, but there's a tweet about the Lakers trade.
Yeah.
The Lakers did something today.
Oh, it's 45.
45 for 35, correct? Or was it 55 for 45?
I think it was... We'll find out.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Eric. To you and Hansen Yang.
Yeah.
Everybody wish Eric a happy birthday in the chat. Post your only members can post the Eric emojis. But you have permission to spam the Eric emojis.
Swap Reese birthday too.
Wow.
2 of our centers and me all share the same birthday.
Meanwhile, I share it with Shaden Sharp.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
You're muted, by the way.
They moved up to 45 from 55.
Gotcha, okay.
And Bulls now have 55. Fix that.
I really hope the Blazers trade into the second round and do something.
Yeah. Alex Tui.
No thanks. But you know, they want everybody on the team to be from somewhere other than the U.S. So I mean, they actually had the most international guys before the Yang pick. We know that Mike Schmitz likes he's a good international scout. So if they trade into the second round, I'm just guessing it's Tui or Bogoljub or something along those lines. Who's the top international center? That's the real question.
We think they're going to go for a center?
It'd be funny. I mean, for the memes? Do it for the memes.
Do you know what I was thinking last night?
What?
If they were in love with Hansen last year, like this is people are gonna think this is just me, but why didn't they stay at 52 and take Shamshay? Because he's like he's
in the 2025 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Rasheer Fleming from St. Joseph's University.
So the Suns get Fleming. All right, go on.
Because like he's could have, potentially good passing instincts. His offense is raw, but defensively, he already showed in the G League last year. He was amongst the league leaders in blocks and stuff like that, protected rim protection stats, things like that. So if that's what they were going for, but plus Chomshay has the ability to switch a little bit, so maybe you could figure out a way to play them together. It just seems weird that they wouldn't like him at all.
All right, I need to pull up a draft order.
So the Phoenix Suns end up with my draft board 2 top 10 players in this draft and Mark Williams. Just an incredible draft by them, in my opinion. I think Fleming is going to be a really good fit. And just 3-and-D wing. Now, he's not much of a creator. That's probably why he fell. I'm assuming his workouts didn't go particularly great either. Otherwise, with his measurements, he probably should have rose up draft boards, not fell. So I just think at this point of the draft, they did really good adding 2 guys with good size, and they turned some of their weaknesses in terms of not having a good center rotation into an absolute strength.
I think top 10's a little high for Fleming. I think I don't know. I had him about 15, 16, that sort of range. I mean, this is great value here at 31, regardless of how you split it. They needed a power forward. I've been talking about how they need 3-and-D guys, and he's somebody that can provide both. So they have nailed this draft. And they nailed this draft because they just walked into two perfect... Well, they didn't walk into this pick. They were very aggressive in getting this pick. So they made it happen. But, yeah, they kind of got lucky in the way Malawach fell to them. And then you get great value here. There were some good prospects on the board here at 31 for them, so they take advantage.
Shams, according to AJ, Shams is saying that the Celtics wanted Fleming at 32. So
if they're looking to trade Ant, I would take a flyer on Cam Jones for them. All right, so we got the Celtics on the clock at 32. My laptop chose the worst day to be slow.
We do not have a pick in the second round.
Jeez, man. $32 traded to the Magic. The Orlando Magic have the 32nd pick. They took Jace Richardson at 25. Got a steal there. They could go with another guard. They could go with the Cam Jones. But I feel like this will be for Maxime Reynaud is my guess. They could use big depth. And Reynaud and Kalkbrenner are Jay Billis's top two players on the board. I think it'll definitely be one of those two players. So 32 for 46 and 57 and 2 seconds. Wow, that's quite the haul for 32. So the Magic really want this guy. And the Celtics trade down after not getting Fleming. All right, here we go.
With the 32nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Noah Penda from Bondi.
Oh, the Magic go with Penda. I'm surprised they did not go big man there. They get a 3-and-D forward. I mean, they took Tristan da Silva last year. They have a lot of forwards, a lot of players kind of in this mold. I'm surprised they traded as much as they did to move up from 46 to 32 to get Penda. But you know, I guess that's their guy.
Cheap, cheap KCP replacement.
Yeah. Do you want me to pause so we can get synced?
No, I cannot. It will not work on my phone right now. I don't know why. So I'm just going to be way behind, but I'll just listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll play it loud enough. All right, so we got the Hornets on the clock with back-to-back picks. They also drafted Con Knipple at 4, Liam McNeely at 29. So there's a good chance I think the Hornets could trade one of these two picks. Maybe they didn't. I missed it today. I was not really...
I have not seen them actually trade the pick yet.
Yeah.
Rumors, but that was it.
I would say there's a greater than 50% chance they'll trade one of these picks. Of course, the Blazers were at 34 last year and traded the pick away for 3 seconds. Now it updated. That's crazy. All right. So who do you like here for the Hornets? I guess they could go big now that they traded Mark Williams and you got Kalkbrenner and Reynaud there.
Yeah, I like either of those guys to them. Board updated.
We are all Yang bangers at heart. That's crazy, man. Crazy statement. Who has the 36th pick since you're on the page? Oh, check. It's Brooklyn. All right. Does Brooklyn... do they still have 36? That would be their 6th pick in the top 40 picks. Like, do they keep it? It was wild them drafting 5 players in the first round yesterday. I think that has to be a record. At least as long as I can remember.
So shout out to Night Train 79 who sent me a how to pronounce Yang. I'm going to send it to you, Tori. Maybe you can play it on air so we can all learn.
I don't know if I'll have a second to even get to that at this point.
Oops.
You should play it on your phone. Play it over the mic.
Oh, okay. Hey, my stream finally was to work.
Dude, my computer is crap.
That. All right, everyone, we're gonna learn together, okay?
How to pronounce. In today's video, we'll be focusing on
It's
a
a
new
whole
word
video?
that you might find challenging or
Is that a
intriguing.
YouTube video?
So let's dive into today's word,
Oh, are we gonna get?
which means the positive, bright, and
Are we gonna
masculine
get copyright claimed?
Chinese dualistic cosmology. Let's say it all together. Young. Young.
Young.
Young. One more time. Young. Young.
Is that a YouTube video?
On this
Yeah.
adventure in
Oh, nice! You try to get us copyright claimed.
I thought it was funny, like how we
We'll be fine.
Yang.
Young.
So it's not the Yang Bang, it's the
Young Bong.
Yang.
Young Bong.
I guess you have to say G at the end. Yang. I just thought it was funny that it was this guy had this like weird introduction for just the pronunciation of one word. And that's all that video is.
All right, here we go with Charlotte at 33.
Marv says, "Is there a video to help me see what Blazers saw in him?"
Third pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Sion James from Duke University.
My guy, Sion James. My guy goes 33, Eric.
Yeah.
They keep him with Knipple. I like Sion James. He's not going to be like a elite scorer by any means. It's not really his game, but he's just kind of like a do-it-all wing. He does have a little bit of scoring punch for his archetype, so he can make the right pass. He just kind of does a lot of things solidly. I think he can just be a very solid role player for them. Can even handle the ball a little bit, although he projects as a 2-3. knocked down shots last year. Was at University of Tulane before transferring to Duke last season. Was a big part of their Final Four run. Cedric Coward was supposed to replace his role, I think, this year, and of course that didn't happen because Coward was the 11th overall pick. But cool to see him go this high. We talked about Charlotte just needing solid players, just solid, well-rounded guys, and Sion James is exactly that. I like it.
He ended up going 33, so this ended up hurting him. I thought he was going to slip a little bit into the later part of the second round simply because he measured at 6'4.5" with just a 6'6.5" wingspan, so kind of small. But he's the kind of like high motor, high energy, can kind of do a little bit of everything. Is really turned into a respectable enough shooter, I think, to stay on the court, and then his defense puts them over the top. So yeah, good glue guy, role player type, which is fine at this point of the draft.
Yep.
Especially as we get into the middle part of the second round, I think there's a huge fall off, and if you can get just a guy who can make a rotation after these first two picks, I think you do well in this draft, in my opinion.
All right, so we got the Sixers on the clock at 5. Of course, they took Vijay Edgecombe, who's going to wear number 77 for the Sixers.
Yeah, we still have one more Charlotte pick.
Oh, yeah. Charlotte, and then Philadelphia, and then it's actually Minnesota at 36. I know I put Brooklyn. It's Minnesota at 36, who traded down from 31. I don't know how they got 36.
They got it. The Suns made a bunch of trade, ended up getting 36 today.
Yeah.
And then they moved that pick.
How many trades did the Suns make today?
They made like 4 trades just to get seconds, and then they traded those seconds they got to move up. It was crazy.
Impressive, man.
Yeah.
Really impressive draft for them. This might be our first pick that is not announced on coverage. So I guess I just have to pay attention.
I don't know why they would. Like, why would they think to announce picks on coverage of a draft?
I know, right?
It seems silly. Like, why? No one wants to do that. They want to watch the commercials, right?
Yeah. I always remember reacting to CJ Ellaby's name coming across the bottom of the screen during a commercial, man. That was a great time. I love that.
There was some, I don't know if you saw this, Tori. There's some buzz that Nembhard's going to go early in the second round. They think his floor right now is Pacers at 38.
Really?
Yep.
Pacers at 38 would be super fun, man. I would love for him to be united with his brother, man. He's just super solid. Like, I know he's small, but he just runs an offense really, really well and is one of the best passers in the draft. And, like, if he can shoot it all. I know he's undersized, but we saw his brother, Andrew Nembhard, who wasn't really known as a defender coming into the league, become a lockdown guy. So maybe Ryan Nembhard can be a better defender than expected as well, if he follows in his footsteps. Happy that we're going to get a Gonzaga guy drafted. Gonzaga players have panned out recently in the draft, man. They really have. So alrighty. Are there any under-the-radar second-rounders or undrafted candidates you like? We'll talk about undrafted guys after the stream because those could be eligible for two ways. I do like a Du Thiero. I would love for the Blazers to take a flyer on Thiero. Also, if they drafted Kobe Brea to be their like knockdown elite shooter, wouldn't mind that either. And I think Cam Jones is good value. All right, here we go with Charlotte.
In the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton University.
Had to figure they'd go center with one of these two picks if they kept them both after trading Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns yesterday. What salary did the Suns trade for Mark Williams?
I think they had a bit of room in the Durant trade to add.
I thought it was extremely close. Was it not?
I don't know. I thought that they were just working into that trade since the 10th pick was going.
If somebody in the chat knows, let us know.
Misic.
Oh, it was Misic. Gotcha. Wait, Misic back to Charlotte? Wolves were going to take Young at 17. According to what? I keep seeing people say that, and I don't ever see a source.
That I was going to say this before seeing that. Literally anyone we took at 16, I mean, they could have taken like Caleb Love at 16 and just been like, well, Minnesota was going to take him at 17. So it was according to his Young's agent that he had a promise at 19 from Brooklyn and that Minnesota had told him they were going to take him ahead of the promise at 17.
Okay. I guess we believe his agent. I mean,
or his agent just fully spoiled
it. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Which, fair game. Fair game.
I do feel like that's something they would want to be floated out there.
Yeah. All right, so we got Philly on the clock. What do you like here for them? They could get a backup center and some elite insurance with Reynaud. They could get a shooter with Kobe Brea. I think they need to go with like kind of one of those two. Maybe Cam Jones doesn't make sense. They're loaded on guards now after drafting edge.
Yeah.
So I think it's just where do you want depth and what role do you want depth in?
I think Thiero makes sense for them just to have like some sort of like defensive stopper that you could play with those guys. I think honestly, Reynaud makes a ton of sense for Embiid insurance. He could. I'm not saying he's Embiid, but he has that kind of all around, can handle the ball a little bit, can pass the ball, can create a little bit, can protect the rim. So obviously he's not Embiid, but like you could maybe get a capable backup center there for when he misses half the season. I actually kind of like Amari Williams to them too, for similar reasons, just kind of a playmaker at the center position. But if this was me right now, I'm taking either Thiero or Reynaud.
Absolutely agree. I think Reynaud is being underrated, is going to be a good value for a team to take a chance on. You have Minnesota up next at 36, but they took Berenger. And then Detroit at 37. Yeah, you could see Reno fall if he doesn't get taken here. Pacers could use a center at 38, but we'll see if Ryan Nembhard's floor is truly 38.
One Piece says there's not a hard G at the end of his name, but we literally just listened to someone pronounce it. I don't know.
Yang. I don't know.
Young.
Yeah. I'll probably end up saying Yang on accident all season long.
Yeah, it's more fun anyway.
Like I said, Avdia too many times this season. Or Avdia, however I was saying.
Avdia is what we used to say.
Yeah. Even though I knew better, it just became habit. All right, here we go with the Sixers.
With the 35th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Janai Brew from Auburn University.
Oh, wow.
I don't like that for them, man. He's a tweener that is not center size and not athletic enough to play the four, and his shot is, he hit some threes in college, but it wasn't really efficient, so can he actually shoot? I just don't like the way his game translates to the NBA. He was in the battle for Player of the Year last year with Cooper Flagg, but some guys translate to the NBA, and some guys do not. This is one of those guys that I don't think translates.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is a terrible pick for them. I did have Broom in the middle of my second round, but that was more just by default because I don't feel like there was 60 ranked players on my board that so I had him at 48. Second round pick, I don't think anything's a reach at this point, but I don't see with Renault on the board still, this doesn't make a ton of sense to me. He doesn't seem quick enough on the perimeter to play power forward, like you said, which means he's a tweener. So, he's a solid player, but a lot of his offense was generated off of moves and stuff that I don't think translate to the NBA. And so unless he becomes an even more lights out shooter, I don't see how, other than being a hustle, offensive rebound putback guy, I don't see how he's going to get a similar scoring diet in the NBA.
Yep. Absolutely agree. This draft is zooming. We got the Timberwolves on the clock.
So, just great college career, though.
Yeah.
He was awesome this year at Auburn, but
Luka Garza was also had a great college career.
Mm-hmm. And a good pro career. Could he be Mo Spates?
Mo Spates ended up becoming a really good shooter. I just have a tough time seeing that from Broom.
Yeah, I guess body, size and shape. They're headed to Shams. I wonder what Shams is saying. Did he play it?
The Lakers are up at 36. The Lakers are at 36 now. I assume they traded up from 45. So from 55 to 45 to 36. They need some big man depth. You got Reynaud on the board, which would be a really good big man for the Lakers to take. And we'll see if that's what they do.
The Lakers and Suns being super aggressive today.
Mm-hmm.
With the 36th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Adu Thiero from the University of...
Adu Thiero is a good pick as well.
Yeah.
Wing defender, athletic, can play in transition, get some defense. The shooting is questionable, but I do think he has a shot at becoming a better shooter than people maybe realize. He wasn't particularly efficient in college, played at Kentucky, and then transferred with John Calipari to Arkansas last year and was phenomenal. He's a great athlete, a fun player, and good value here for the Lakers at 36.
Yeah, obviously they do need to address center at some point. Didn't necessarily have to be in the draft. So, yeah, I think just getting another wing that has a ton of athleticism, can get out and run the floor with Luka, and be a lob threat, and also is rock solid on the defensive end, is going to really improve their perimeter defense. So, yeah, I think this is a really good pick for them.
Agree.
I don't see that everyone's linking them to Brook Lopez, which I think is a terrible fit for the style they should be playing. And I kind of felt the same way about Reynaud, although they need a center and he's the best one available. I don't know if that's like necessarily the best fit style-wise with Luka.
Yeah, I think it's, opportunity cost. If you could get Brook Lopez on a rookie contract with second-round pick, it's probably worth it. But when it's your MLE, when you could be signing other players with that MLE, that's a different equation. So that's why I like Reynaud to them.
If we somehow get
ding dong.
If we somehow or not we, if the Lakers somehow get,
your Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow. If they somehow get some sort of lob threat big, whether that ends up being like Claxton or whoever, that would I think that would be really a good move for them, but I don't know how they're going to be able to get that. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. So the pick is in for Detroit. Picks are coming fast. We'll see when these picks start getting announced during commercials, or if maybe ESPN is actually going to announce them all on air, because that would be great. Lakers should acquire Dom and Ayton. It'll be really weird if the Blazers don't trade Ayton after taking Yang where they did. They have to trade one of Ayton or Rob Will. This roster makes no sense at this point. You got the Jeremy Grant stuff. Like, maybe Grant and Ayton get traded. I don't know. It is kind of exciting knowing the Blazers probably aren't done. If they are, I guess we get to make fun of them. Who was that? The Domino's guy?
Blaze the Nux says it was a strippergram. I wish you sent me a strippergram. No, just kidding.
A stripper dressed as a Domino's delivery person?
Detroit at 37.
Who would you go over here for them? Who do you think they'll take?
I mean, there's a lot of ways they could go. I do like I
Here's
do
their
like
pick.
Brea for
The
shooting.
Detroit Pistons select. It's during the commercial. It's during the Monjaro commercial. The Pistons select. The selection graphic is still up. Chaz Lanier out of Tennessee. Thoughts on Chaz Lanier at 37 for the Pistons?
I mean, he's okay. Real steady, solid point guard. Good defender. I mean, he's dependable. Like, I don't think he does anything well enough to really say this is like a high upside pick or anything other than maybe a backup point guard. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you're going to take a guard, you got the much more like higher ceiling of Cam Jones, and yeah, I probably would have went there, but I get it. They just want kind of like it's weird. He's going to be a rookie, but he's kind of like a veteran rookie, if that makes sense.
Good mid-range shooter. Had some really good moments at Tennessee last year. Tennessee at one point was the #1 team in the country. And now we have the Indiana Pacers here on the clock. Do they go Ryan Nembhard?
They do. Yeah, so Chaz Lanier, John Broom was my. I had that at 48, 49. That was my like line of this is where I'm just adding guys that I wouldn't draft. Like,
Yeah.
So
you're gonna have to let me know who gets drafted that's below that line.
Yeah. This it's such a weird draft with so many players going back to school because of NIL.
When did the Spurs trade this pick to the Pacers? I'm confused.
What's that?
When did the Spurs trade this pick to the Pacers?
It was probably part of another trade, right?
Yeah. This is the fun game we love to play in the second round. Where did that pick come from?
Dude, chat is right. Who said that in chat? Eric Olson. Yeah. Cam Jones is so much more fun, though.
I know.
He'd be a great pick here for them, too.
All right, here we go at 38.
With the 38th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Cam Jones from Marquette University.
Oh, I want them to go Ryan Nembhard. I mean, he can play some point, and he's kind of NBA ready for the Pacers. He's maybe the most NBA ready player left on the board. So you get some guard depth that could contribute to a decent team next year, given Halliburton's injury. So I do really like this pick for them.
I love this pick for them. I think he can help contribute, and also, like, the Nembhard that is there already, he's gonna obviously take over a lot of the point guard duties this year. They'll still have TJ McConnell, assuming they don't trade one of those guys. But Cam can kind of, with Nembhard, you can kind of like have them both be ball handlers. Like, you don't have to like have one of them have too much pressure or whatever as being the main guy. And I think both of them can kind of play off ball as Nembhard's already been doing, and Cam can shoot. And so I really like that combo for them, at least this year. And then you can always figure out what to do with them later when Halliburton's healthy.
Yep. Raptors on the clock at 39. The only team, I think, to keep both their picks. I believe. Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to them. We'll have the Pelicans, Warriors, Jazz, assuming I'm not forgetting trades, which I probably am.
Oh, yeah, let me update the ticker. But Cam Jones is a guy who, when they had the point guard we traded to New York last year in the draft from Marquette, who is that? Why am I blanking on so many names?
Tyler Kolek. I don't know.
Yeah, Kolek. Yeah, Kolek. When they had him, Kolek dominated the ball, was an assist master there at Marquette. And Cam Jones was like a spot-up shooter type. And then when he left and Cam Jones really took over the offense and showed that he had a ton of playmaking ability that he hadn't shown a whole lot of in previous years, and basically ran that whole Marquette team. So he really impressed me a lot this year. Like you said, he's a little older, so I think he's more ready to play than a lot of other players in this draft, as Nembhard would have been too.
Yeah. Agreed. Still got Reyno as just the obviously best player on the board here. The Raptors did not take a center. I mean, maybe they could go Reyno. It's just, I still think the Colin Murray-Boyles pick is just straight up bad and just a super weird fit. I do not understand why they did that.
Well, we were happy at the time, not knowing that we were about to trade.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You guys are going to get Jan Hansen. Yeah. Carter Bryant would have been fun on this team. You know how much people would be loving Carter Bryant if we just took him at 11 right now and calling Cronin a genius?
Oh, there were a few people in chat yesterday that were saying he was trash, but why do you guys want him? He's trash.
Yeah, I don't understand.
He couldn't score more than 12 points against Portland State.
My response to that was always like, I bet Jalen Williams his last year in college had a game where he couldn't score that many against like Pepperdine. I'd have to go look at his game log, but like, come on.
Also, like, Coward's a weird example because, like, anything you say about him in any games, it's not necessarily who he is today as a player. Like,
yeah,
he improved a lot, and I didn't get a chance to show it this season, only playing 6 games.
Yeah, but those 6 games he played, he was phenomenal. So, like, dude gets some credit, you know?
A lot of people are asking about if the pick got confirmed unprotected. There was a Sam Vecini article that was talking about if the Magic were like bad, that pick could be a top pick or something, but like I haven't seen like official confirmation, but pretty much everyone says it is.
With the 39th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Elijah Martin from the University of Florida.
Elijah Martin. This is pretty high for him. I mean, he's like a, 6'1" shooting guard. He's athletic. He won a championship at Florida. Second Florida guard to go. Their guard core was really, really fun last year, and he was part of it, but this does feel a little bit high. They got, Emmanuel Quickly there in the backcourt. I guess they like short guards that aren't really true point guards. Interesting.
Yeah, I had him below that line at 55. I knew he was going to get drafted just because of the volume of players, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like, a little undersized. He's, like you said, super athletic. Could do some things, but also is kind of inconsistent at times. I don't know. There's nothing really other than athleticism, but that kind of is dictated when you're small. So, other than that, there's nothing that like stands out as like a wow strength or anything. He's just like, I don't know. He is. I guess. He is. He'll get after you defensively.
So the Lakers trade up from 45 to 36.
They must have.
I'm just gonna guess that Minnesota's at 45.
Yeah, it's probably a good guess.
$45 in cash for 36. Damn, that's it. Wow.
For the record, Tori, Real GM future drafts detailed. It's a great page if anyone ever wants to look at draft picks owed. They do have the pick as unprotected, but it does say pending.
It better be unprotected.
Looks like it's unprotected, yeah.
If it's not. I've seen so much stuff like in the past 24 hours where it's like people saying Coward didn't want to go to the Blazers, and I was like, okay, source? The pick is unprotected. Okay, source? You know?
And so,
the promises for Young, like so much stuff where I'm just like, where are you guys getting this info from? What am I missing? All right. So we got New Orleans on the board here at 40. This pick was traded as part of the Jordan Poole trade.
while they're on the clock, let me just say, looking back on their trade yesterday, just absolute malpractice. I cannot believe they caved and gave up the best of their pick and Milwaukee's pick next year with Dame out for the year and with them going a little bit younger route and Zion's injury history and all that kind of stuff. What on earth were they thinking just for Derek Queen? Like, man, that was it. And guess who's in charge of their team? No. Joe Dumars.
Yeah, that was malpractice. Like, I really like the Blazers trade up, and then the Hawks did that trade back from 13, and it was like, dude, could we have had that? Like, we had the better pick, right? So,
well,
like,
why couldn't we have? Like, they wouldn't have done that.
But that's
same
the thing. If
trade
they did not trade down to 23 and take that best Milwaukee Portland first because they were worried they wouldn't get Hansen Yang, then that is absolutely ridiculously stupid and like a fireable offense. The Blazers, like, if the Blazers could have done that and they didn't, that's ridiculous. They would have controlled 4 of the next 5 Milwaukee drafts. So anytime Giannis became available, whether it was the Blazers trading for Giannis or any other team trading for Giannis, if the Bucks suck this year and Giannis wants out, there was a bunch of rumors there, the Blazers could have completely controlled trade negotiations and used their control of Milwaukee's picks to, like, get a star potentially or just really, really cash in. Or they could keep the pick and probably get a top 10 pick. You know, trading 11 down to 23 and getting a top 10 pick next year absolutely would take that. So I don't understand how that wasn't on the table considering the Hawks traded down from 13 to get that package and the Blazers had the 11th pick. Maybe they didn't know it was on the table, but then it's like, okay, you need to do your due diligence. So, you know, that's the thing. It's like, even when there's a trade down I like, it's always some other team doing something better where, like, logically, seems like the Blazers should have been able to do that, right? So, and then they take the reach of the draft. So it's always something. It's always something with this team. But I still can't believe that New Orleans did that. That is a terrible, terrible move, man. Just to get Derek Queen.
There's still all kinds of debate.
With the 40th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft,
Pick going to
the
New Orleans.
Washington Wizards select Micah Peavy from Georgetown University.
Micah Peavy. He's a draftable player. He's big. He can pass a little bit, can shoot a little bit. Like, might be solid defensively. He doesn't move the best for an NBA wing, at least offensively. But I think, well-rounded guy that could turn into a bench role player. One of the older prospects in the draft.
Yeah, he's fine. I had him right after Chaz Lanier on my list of not necessarily draftable guys in other drafts with more prospects, but I don't have an issue with this. I guess 40 is fine. Like you said, solid player, knows how to score. Yeah, thought he would have been a little better on it as a two-way guy, but low key, the Blazers should try to get Jordan Hawkins if he's available. I know he hasn't shot well so far, but he has
Another
had.
guard.
I just want like a shooter.
Yeah, but I want a shooter that can play the 3. And he's kind of small for the 3.
But it is kind of cheap though. Or it should be. I mean, like his contract wise.
Yeah. He killed us last year, if you guys remember that game. That was a fun one. Samira, these picks flying off the board. We're almost halfway done.
Yeah, well, there's less time in the second round. So.
Or I guess we're a third of the way done. I'm trying to like get ahead on these bottom ticker graphics because I did not make them earlier. So you still got Reno on the board. He'd be actually a very interesting player in Golden State, but they did hit on Quentin Post last year, so.
This is Phoenix's pick.
Oh.
They already got 2 centers yesterday, so I doubt they go here.
Yeah.
Center here.
They could go point guard. They haven't gone point guard yet, right? So.
Yeah, and I really like Tyrese Proctor for them. That'd be a good pick. And if you're just going to take, the best player, I know they don't necessarily need a wing defender right now because they have a bunch of those guys, but Jimmer Watkins, good role player.
Then you have Kings, Jazz, 42 and 43. I don't believe either of those picks have been traded. Hey, by the Blazers' logic, the Suns could go center here. Yeah, true. They were a team that needed 2 centers, though. So, they filled a need. The Blazers' only needs are who they fall in love with. That's what matters. They're interviewing VJ Edgecombe. Which was a good pick by Philly, not getting drawn into the potential trap that is Ace Bailey. I know you liked Ace Bailey in Philly, but I hated it. I really hated it. I think Edgecombe's gonna be great for them. Who would you go here for Phoenix then? Ryan Nembhard?
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be bad. I'd probably go Proctor though.
Oh yeah, you did say Proctor.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just going value, man, if you would have told Phoenix they got Malawatch at 10 and would have the 41st pick after taking Rasheer Fleming at 31, who they might have taken at 29 if they didn't make that Mark Williams trade anyway. And they could have gotten Renault too. And
Yeah.
I think maybe they don't do the Mark Williams trade then.
Yeah, all guys higher than Hansen Yang, by the way. I do think
fit better too. But.
I do think like Zakarski is going to be a good upside play later on in the second round for a team that wants a high upside center.
Yeah, absolutely.
A long interview. Hansen Yang got potential. Stop destroying my hope. I mean, based off his highlights, like. All right, here we go with the pick.
First pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Kobe Bryant from the University of Kentucky.
Ooh, I kind of like it for them, man. I kind of like it for them. I feel like the Suns have had the problem of having role players that weren't particularly like elite at anything, but also weren't well-rounded enough. You know what I mean? Like I guess Grayson Allen could be considered an elite shooter, but with his money, it's smart for the Suns to try and move off of him at some point. You just got Rasheer Fleming and Malawatch long-term for some front court defense. And this guy is the best shooter in the draft. Like, had one of the best shooting college careers ever, and he's listed at like 6'6", 6'7". So he can maybe play the three. He's not really going to make a play off the dribble, but like for a shooter, he attacked closeouts decently. Defensively, not much to write home about. He's not going to really contribute much on that end. He's kind of like a Sam Hauser type of pick here, but I think if you're looking for a guy with a high floor at this point in the draft, he absolutely has the highest floor because teams love shooting in the NBA, and he's going to be a really, really good NBA shooter. He's a lights-out shooter. So he just basically can fill that bench role, that Hauser type of bench role for them, and just be a knockdown guy that really spaces the floor for Book and, I guess, Jalen Green.
Yeah, I mean, he did measure at the combine. 6'5" and 3/4 without shoes.
6'6", nice.
Do you know what his wingspan was?
What was his wingspan?
6'5" and 1/4. Slightly negative wingspan.
Yeah. He's maybe a little undersized at the three, but he's a lights out shooter. So like if you're trying to fill a specific role, he's the perfect guy for that shooting role. So I think at this point in the draft, this is a pretty dang good pick.
It's like Eric measurements right there.
Can you shoot like him though?
No.
You should have just said yes. All right, we got Sacramento on the pick or on the clock. Their pick is in, so I guess they're not on the clock anymore.
Yeah, Suns had a great couple days, man. Still need a point guard, but they have some time to figure that out.
Sacramento's pick is in. We have another trade to announce. As part of a deal to be finalized later, the Minnesota Timberwolves are trading to the Phoenix Suns the draft rights to Rasheer Fleming, the 31st pick. With the 42nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Maxime Reynaud from Paris, France, and Stanford University.
Reynaud finally goes. I guess he stays pretty local, going to Sacramento. They traded for Valanciunas last year in a move that I thought made absolutely no sense. Now they get somebody that I think could actually play right away. He's a pretty skilled big. One of the best little hook shots, float shots in the draft for a big man. But he can also shoot the ball and also showed some playmaking flashes. I actually think he has some sneaky upside. I think he should have been picked probably, I don't know, 20 picks earlier. He was definitely a first round talent to me. Oh, look at him playing chess with Wemby. I like him even more now.
They kind of used him at times this year, similar to how Dayton used Deron Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I started to like him. Just one of those bigs that's just able to do so many things. And I think when people are talking about Young as a potential, Chinese Jokic or whatever, to me, Reynaud is a little bit more similar in play style.
Yeah.
Not saying either one is Jokic or going to be, but you mentioned how Young doesn't have the ball handling to be actually Jokic eventually.
Yeah.
But I think Reynaud does. So, he could have that aspect where you have that big five that runs your offense and stuff like that. Now, to what level it'll be effective, it will be the key in determining how good he is. But he does have that ability, and that is a quality that tends to lead to pretty good outcomes when you're a big man who can handle the ball.
Yeah, I would like to know why Joe Cronin was so much higher on Young Hansen than Maxime Reynaud. Because I think Reynaud has a little bit more juice to him. Made some really impressive plays. I guess maybe didn't average as many assists. But here's the thing with Young's passing, he averaged more turnovers than assists in the CBA, which is not a good league. He's very turnover prone, so he has some nice passing flashes, and that's all you're gonna see on highlight tapes, man. It's just, yeah. The part I hate about the draft is when people who have never known this guy or paid attention to a guy like Young, he gets drafted, so then they watch a highlight tape and they're like, oh, look how good he looks. He could be the next Jokic, and then they start making outlandish claims. That's my least favorite part about the draft process, man. I had somebody left a comment on the last stream saying he's a mix between Wemby and Sabonis, and was not trolling. I was told, go watch his highlight tape. He's Wemby light with some Sabonis. So, yeah.
Crazy.
Very.
Do the Jazz for sure have this pick still? I felt like they
proposed trade to Washington.
Okay.
I'll try and reflect what team has which pick as best I can, but it's kind of difficult. 48 is Memphis, 49 is Cleveland, and 50 is, let's see here, the Knicks. All right, so now Reynaud's off the board. The Wizards are up. Who do you like for them? Of course, they took Trey Johnson, and then they trade down from 18 to 21. And who'd they take at 21 again?
21, they got Will Riley.
Will Riley, that's right.
Real quick, going back to Sacramento for a second.
Mm-hmm.
To not have a first and come out of this draft with Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud. Great job by them. That's a lot better than what they did during last season, which I hated.
Yeah.
So props to them.
I like the complement of role players they're collecting. Obviously, they don't have really a star outside of Sabonis anymore. Like the top in talent and starting lineup is an issue, but like their young players off the bench, Devin Carter, Nick Clifford, and Rayno. It's a really good like complement of guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blaze for a $5 donation. Then again, the last Chinese center we drafted got into a fight with Ruben Patterson during the Jailblazer era. Absolutely correct. Thank you for the donation.
Awesome.
Deal to be finalized later, the San Antonio Spurs are trading to the Indiana Pacers the draft rights to Cam Jones, the 38th pick. With the 43rd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Jameer Watkins from Florida State.
My guy!
Jameer.
I don't think that's how you say his name, but so this dude, I wanted him to enter the draft last season. I've liked him for quite a while as just a defensive wing that can actually handle the ball a little bit and is just a good enough three-point shooter, I think, to respect it. And at the combine, he had a 35.9 rebound, 6 steal game. He's athletic, just well-rounded with some athleticism, like a little off the dribble, a little bit of passing, some defense. He's super intriguing. I think he's one of the most NBA-ready prospects in the second round. Last year, I had a first-round grade on him for the majority of the year. I struggled getting back to that point this year just because he didn't enter last year and went back to college and was just another year older, but he could end up being a steal for sure.
Yeah. So I measured 6'5" with a 6'11" and a quarter wingspan, 6.5 standing reach. So big enough to play the small forward, kind of a combo wing there, shooting guard / small forward. I mean, you got Will Riley, you got him, you got Keyshawn George. So they're just throwing a bunch of dudes that can play out there and just seeing what happens.
Alrighty, we got OKC on the clock at 44. We're getting into the point of the draft where it's like there's not a whole lot of impressive prospects. Who's the top player remaining on your board? You're muted.
Man, it's Hunter Salas, Tyrese Proctor, Mari Williams are my top. And then Bogle Jubb.
Who would be your top player left for the Blazers if they traded into the second round?
Well, right here, I'd actually go for Bogle Jubb.
And they probably would as well.
I do kind of like, especially if we found a way to trade Thibault, I kind of like Hunter Salas if we're trying to be good. Or obviously we're trying to be good. But
yeah, like try and develop Salas into a long-term third guard. I think Drew would be an amazing mentor for Salas because I feel like Salas, that's the archetype that's going to make him successful in the league, is that defensive combo guard, 6'4" type of guy. So at this point, I would guess the Blazers are not going to trade into the second round, but you never know. You never know.
Can anyone tell me if Johan Grunlow is in this draft?
I don't think he is.
I can't find anything about him withdrawing or staying in or anything like that.
I really don't think he is.
Yeah.
TBH. So Thunder at 44. I feel like they go international. They don't really have roster spots, so I feel like Bogle Jubb could. That's what I would guess. Is it's a Bogle Jubb pick, and they just stash him. Maybe it's a different international player. Let's find out.
Maybe it's Zakarski too.
Zakarski actually would make a lot of sense as well.
We have another trade to announce. As part of a deal to be finalized later, The Washington Wizards are trading to the New Orleans Pelicans the draft rights to Micah Peavy, the 40th pick. With the 44th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Brooks Barnhizer from
Brooks
Northwestern
Barnhizer.
University.
The Thunder are so good at getting like bench players and value. Like I can't roast them for any pick they make in the second round. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty. He got some buzz like mid-season. He's kind of like a crafty scorer that's not athletic. Can pass a little bit. So I forget what he shot at Northwestern. Averaged 17, 9, and 4 with 2 steals a game. So it was just super productive in the Big Ten. But I don't know. Like he is kind of OKC's type of player.
Yeah.
And now we have Minnesota on the board at 45. After the draft concludes, we'll hang around to talk about potential two-way signings. We'll react to two-way signings. It'll be interesting to see names we've probably never heard of before because this draft, the depth fell off a cliff.
Man, I got triggered by stuff on Twitter today.
What triggered you today?
Just this idea. I am so sick of the wait and see what Cronin has up his sleeve or watch what Cronin does next, right?
Yeah, because we've heard that so many times and he's done nothing.
Yeah, so I just finally responded to one saying, do you realize this is Cronin's 4th offseason, the previous 3 drafts after the draft? So he's made a trade in now 3 out of the 4 prior or just before leading into the draft for a player. But after that, and then after just drafting players, mostly in the first round, I think we drafted 1 second rounder under him. Do you know what he's done post-draft in 3 off seasons?
Like absolutely nothing.
Minus the Dame trade, of course. Like
that he was forced to do. That wasn't his plan.
If you take out the Dame trade, he has done exactly 0 trades the rest of the offseason in 3 straight years. And he has signed 2 players to the actual roster, Gary Payton II and Moses Brown. In 3 seasons, he signed 2 free agents, even to like minimum contracts, and made 0 trades. So like, please don't or miss me with this like crap that, oh, you don't know what he's going to do. Like, okay, track record, he might do something different this year, but if you go by track record, he doesn't do crap after the draft. Like he packs it in and calls it a summer, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people said in regards to building around Dame after we selected Scoot. It was like, oh, we'll just wait till you see what he has cooked up in free agency. And he literally did nothing except resign Jeremy Grant. And then it was like, he basically had no plans and was able to accomplish nothing. And then it was like, oh, Jeremy Grant and Dame tricked him into re-signing Grant. It's like, no, this dude had nothing cooked up. He had nothing cooked up. So, yeah, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of hearing people say that.
Yeah, we shall see. Yep, that's it. Gregory, I knew you were going to say that. We shall see.
We shall see. I mean, the thing is you've said that like the last 4 years and he's done nothing. Like,
oh, he'll trade Simons later this offseason for the last 2 ones. Oh, he's for sure trading Grant now. Oh, wait, no, he can get more value at the deadline. Nope, he didn't do anything at the deadline either. Like
you're bound to be right at some point, but
yeah,
I mean,
he has to do something, but like, yeah.
How many times are you not going to be right before you start questioning what if he actually has a plan? So y'all just wait to see what my boy has cooking up this time. At least you said this time. All right, at least you said this time. Don't forget that it takes 2 to make a trade. Yeah, wait till you see what he has cooking, and then it's like, oh, well, it takes 2 to make a trade, and the other teams didn't want to deal with him, so, what is he supposed to do? Anyway, we got the Timberwolves pick.
We have another trade to announce. As part of a deal
Every pick is going to be prefaced with a trade, by the way.
The Golden State Warriors are trading to the Phoenix Suns the draft rights to Kobe Bryant, the 41st pick. With the 45th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Rocco Zakarsky from Sunshine Coast, Australia, the NBA Global Academy in Australia, and Brisbane Bullets of the NBL.
So the Timberwolves take their second international boomer bust center. This one a lot later than Berenger, but he was projected like top 10 pick by some at the start of the year, and then didn't play much in the NBL, like had some injury issues or something, and kind of fell off the cliff. But he's 7'3" and mobile. 7'3" and mobile, and shows some flashes of like touch on little push shots and that sort of thing. So I think those traits are pretty interesting to be able to get here in the middle of a second round that has lost its depth.
Yeah, I completely agree. Good pick for them. It's kind of funny. They take Berenger, who was projected to go by every single person higher than Young, and now they take another center. So were they really going to take Young at 17? I don't know.
I would have loved to have been like laughing at them taking Young. I guarantee you all these people hyping him up right now off of highlight tapes would not be doing so if the Timberwolves took him at 17. So, yeah. Just funny how things work, Just funny how things work. We got the Magic at 46. Their logo's growing on me, I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to like their logo. I didn't like it at first, but I'm starting to...
Gregory Dundon with his repeat comment for like the 4th straight offseason. We shall, and if opening night you are right, I will gladly say it, but hope you guys will as well.
The thing is, you've said that in past years. I remember it. You never sit here saying we're right.
You always say, oh no, he's got something up his sleeve next time.
Yeah. Somebody like remind us on opening night. The thing is, I actually think he does something this offseason. He kind of has to. But, I mean, it's just funny how we just expect moves, and then moves don't come, and then we expect moves again, and then moves don't come, and we still expect the same thing. Wrong. Saw you guys last year for the first time. Yeah, last year. Unless I'm confusing you with somebody different, but it's funny how often we hear this, and I'll say you guys are right on opening night, and then they're not there opening night. But yeah, I think he does have another trade up his sleeve. I really do.
Yeah.
So we're not disagreeing with you, man. I think it's just the whole logic of repeating the same thing that's repetitively wrong until insanity, and like using that to just like tell people to wait and see, like basically to shut up people given their opinions on this pick. Like, you can't assume that he has something up his sleeve, because the last 4 offseason he's been very inactive after the draft. So like, not even a free agency player, not even making any trades, trading the vets out. Like,
you know what's funny, Tori?
What's that?
That was a comment to my tweet about this. He said he was going to go after free agents. Yeah, no crap. That's what he said. That's
Remember
what
when
he
talked about
always
winning
says.
free agent battles, and then he didn't sign one for like 3 years.
He's always going to work the phone super duper hard, guys. Like,
it's going to be super duper aggressive building around Dame, guys. He said we needed to not be as young and as short going into the 2023 offseason. He's trading the 3rd pick, guys. You just have to listen to him. Like, he GM speaks as much as any GM. And, who'd the Celtics just take? It was during the commercial.
Man, Brian asks, what do you think we can actually get for Ayton, though?
The Celtics took Amari Williams. I like that for him.
Is it actually the Celtics?
Yeah.
If it is, I like that pick a lot.
They trade down from 32 for 46 and 52? Do they have 52? Who has 52?
52 and 59 went to Golden State for 41.
Gotcha. Okay. So I was right.
I think.
That's who I guessed. Now we got the Bucks on the clock for their first and only pick. They had the shocker of the draft last year, taking A.J. Johnson at 23.
The Celtics one was 46?
Yes.
Okay. Right team here. I like that pick a lot for them. I know he's got some limitations other than being able to handle the ball and pass, but I still can't believe in this draft Amari Williams wasn't more well thought of.
Yeah.
Like at one point I was like, there's no way he's in this draft if no one's talking about him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next year I think I just do a proposed trade graphic on the screen and have this all ready beforehand, because that would be so much easier, man. It really would.
So Brian, from what I understand, if we were to trade Ayton, it's looking like at best like a package similar to what the Suns got, and that's a bunch of players that are, some of them, or I guess one.
That the Suns got for who?
For Ayton. Like just a couple of like mid players, like just a match salary.
Yeah,
is basically it. I don't think would have to attach an asset simply because he's expiring, but
hope not.
There was a Sam Quinn of CBS is really trying to push for Ayton to the Lakers. Not that he knows anything about it. He just really thinks that Ayton should be a Laker.
With the 47th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Bogoljub Markovic from Uzetse, Serbia, and Serbia's Mega Basket.
Dame doesn't need second-round picks. Good value. Good value, I guess. I don't really have much to say about him. I saw him at Hoop Summit. He made some threes. He's like 6'11" and can shoot and can handle a little bit. Like, could be one of those second-round international players that pans out.
Yeah, that's good value here. He's there.
Yeah.
Man, he looks like he's 14.
He really does. He needs to grow out the hair and grow out a beard. Then he'll have aura.
He's got a Minecraft face.
Should have acted in the movie.
Yeah.
Are the Pacers still at 54, or did they trade that up for 38?
Insidious Sween says, seriously, respect to you, Tori and Eric. See you later. Thanks for the coverage today and yesterday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, or whatever time it is. Have a good work day, I guess. Whatever you're doing.
I'm going to assume 54 is San Antonio at this point. Did San Antonio get somebody in chat? First person in chat gets a shout out. Who has the 54th pick? And if you're wrong, I'll ban you for 30 seconds.
Hey, Tristan, how did I diss the second round pick?
I don't know.
Why is it? How do you know being a Minecraft looking dude isn't a compliment? I like Minecraft.
All right, here we go.
48th pick in the
This is Memphis,
2025
actually.
NBA draft. The Memphis Grizzlies select Javon Small from West Virginia University.
Javon Small. This is a guy I did not look into enough, so I don't have much to say. Disappointingly, he's a small point guard, but I don't know. Like, I know he is skill wise. Don't really know a ton.
What was that? 48.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Javon Small?
Give me just a second.
Love that for Memphis. Somebody in chat is a Javon Small fan. They can tell us about him. Yeah, defender. I mean, he went to West Virginia. I know they don't have Huggins anymore, but not surprised a West Virginia player's a good defender. Just a little undersized, so who knows how good of a defender he can be at the next level. He does kind of seem like a Grizzlies type pick. Like, the Grizzlies have such an archetype. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he's a good scorer this year. I was a little disappointed being a four-year college guy that his I mean, he's been in the mid-30s three-point shooting, but 2 years ago at Oklahoma State, it was 37%. Was hoping he would stay at least around there, but it dipped down to 35.3% this year. But man, he played over 36 minutes a game, and there's only 40 minutes in college. That's crazy. But I mean, he can run the offense, can pass a little bit, like you said. Is kind of a scrappy defender, so yeah, not a bad player. It's just, I don't know if his lack of shot will probably limit it a little bit.
Shout out to Connor. Indiana still has the 54th pick. They traded a future second for 38.
Thank you, Colin.
Can the Blazers do something today? At least sign a two-way guy. Joe's been active and bold so far this offseason, so can we get something like that for the second round?
Javon Small is by far the lowest rated player I've had drafted so far. 68th on my board. 60. Not that matters or anything, but I do want to say this too, with regards to Memphis. Now you can make the opposite argument, I guess, with a few picks. Like they traded up from 17 to 10. I forgot there were some players involved in that trade and took Jared Williams. That didn't work out. But they've also hit on a lot of draft picks. Mm-hmm. They nailed the Wells pick last year in the second round. They obviously picked well with Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, John Morant was a no-brainer at 2, but the Bane pick was a home run, and then they got Fortune for him. Even like, I know Gigi Jackson was hurt pretty much all year last year, but there's they have a good track record. So when they are desperate enough to give up an unprotected first and to move up 5 spots, that would kind of scare me that they think Coward's going to be really good,
Yeah, man. If that Orlando's picks like in the last in the 20s in 2028, I'm really going to regret that trade. I mean, we'll know by then how good Coward is, but I have a feeling in hindsight this trade could look actually pretty bad, even though on the surface it looks good.
I just keep thinking, can you imagine if we could make the playoffs this year and also be rooting for the Pelicans to be like the 15th seed, and we have a chance at Boozer, Diabonsa, or Peterson, or whatever.
Yep.
Like,
instead, that's going to be the Hawks.
That would have been a legit reality. The Hawks freaking get that, and they still got pretty much the guy they wanted anyway at 23.
They're having a great offseason. I mean, I like the Porzingis trade, given that they barely give anything up, and then getting that, like, they are one of the winners of the offseason for sure.
And
who did Cleveland draft at 49? It was during the commercial. We'll wait for chat to let us know. Gotta love commercials, man. Proctor. Well, they get their big guard, their Ty Jerome replacement if he leaves in free agency.
If anyone sees any like trade stuff too, let us know.
You got the Knicks on the clock. Is this their first pick of the draft? I believe it is.
Yeah, I don't think they've had a pick. 49ers.
I think that's a good destination for Proctor. That's a good pick for Cleveland. Another Duke guy. That's what, the fourth Duke guy? Knipple Malawatch flag. Oh, Sion James. Oh, it's the fifth Duke guy.
Yeah.
So we might get this draft done by what, 7:30? It's pretty good. It's pretty good pace. That is a pretty good pace. Draft week used to be like my favorite week, man. It really used to be my favorite week. And now it's so stressful, it's just... It's the most stressful week of my year.
Does seem like rushed too. Like the season just ended, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Next year I'm not preparing stuff last second. Everything we built that we didn't really get to show off, I spent so much time working like 2-3 days straight and like trying to work as fast as possible, just having the pressure of the draft starting, being against the clock. I'm just gonna be honest, it wore me out. And I'm at the point I'm just ready for it to be over. Well, free agency, another trade would be fun. I need a break. But it's all for you guys, man. It's literally just all for you guys.
Reese Hucks, I seriously doubt with
the Clippers have his pick, apparently.
With how Clippers are next.
Chat said trade.
The New York Knicks select Kobe Sanders from the University of Nevada.
So the Clippers moved up from 51 to 50?
I guess.
So I'll just leave the Knicks. The Knicks are now on the clock? I don't know why they moved up from 51 to 50. Probably with some cash or something. What, they thought the Knicks were going to take them at 50? Like, I don't understand that at all, but, you know, it's the second round of the NBA draft. That's the stuff we get.
Mm-hmm.
So we supposedly have the Jazz at 53. ESPN is doing a good job with like keeping the proposed trade stuff on the board. I think Sham's talking about.
Now to the Clippers. Obviously just went. So the Knicks have traded Kobe Sanders to the Clippers.
All right, Kobe Sanders now on his way to the Los Angeles Clippers, which means he can't sit down yet. He can't sit down yet. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight. I guess that means we can talk a little bit more about New York and what they're off here, Bobby.
Well, they've got their top 7 players under contract.
All right, so this pick should be going to the Knicks, according to chat. Chat is my sources.
Yeah, Sanders is okay. I mean, I don't think he's. To me, if you're gonna make it in the NBA, you got to shoot a little better.
He's kind of in that like PV Bryce Williams mold, you know, at like the back end of this draft, just like a big wing with some guard skills.
Yeah.
What did he shoot from 3 last year?
I think if he could shoot, he would have been like a early second round pick. 34.2%.
Yeah, not terrible.
So we saw 50-51 swap. Essentially, still trying to figure out exactly what went to the Knicks for this swap. I'm sure some consideration of cash. So Spike, you can step back up.
Who was it? Who was it that someone had that?
All right. So, yeah, it's the Knicks, according to Sham Sharania. Does Memphis still have 56? I think Chicago's at 55. Chat, let me know if I'm right about both. This is my favorite game. Who has what pick? Stick around after the draft because two-way signings will be reported. It'll be interesting to see how many there might be. But the Blazers could make a two-way signing, and we'll talk about that player.
Please go after someone this year.
Yeah.
Just anyone.
You got 3 two-way spots. You got Sissoko on one. You can sign an undrafted rookie, and you can, I don't know, if you want to bring back McGowan's. Who's there? I mean, Justin Minaya. Is he out of two-way eligibility yet?
Let me see.
I don't think he is.
It's been at least 3 years because
Yeah.
didn't he play for the Hawks a couple games, which were I think it was the Hawks, right?
I don't think he ever played for the Hawks. I think he's only played for the Blazers. All right,
Okay.
Here we go. Here's who the Knicks will actually draft.
With the 51st pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the LA Clippers select Mohamed Diawara from Paris, France, and Francis Cholet-Basket.
Mohamed Diawara. I don't know much about his game. I recognize the name. That's always the challenge, especially in a draft like this that had a bunch of players go back to school. Like, just, know the name. So just a foreign forward. Do you know anything about him, Eric?
Yeah, he's one of those guys who, I mean, he could still develop into something, but he's like one of those guys who, like, has been thought of as a guy who could be something for a couple of years now, but never really took that jump and never really showed much after kind of being discovered a couple of years ago. Cholet's where Salon played last year. Yeah, I mean, not bad. At this point in the draft, why not?
Ryan Nembhard's still on the board, though.
Yeah.
And Indiana's coming up, man. If Indiana doesn't take him at 54, I'll be shocked. Because he just makes a lot of sense for him, and of course he's Andrew Nemhard's brother. Because, like, what if TJ McConnell gets hurt? Who is going to play point guard? Backup point guard for them? I guess you could do it by committee, but they don't really have a player of that archetype. Like Neesmith, Matherin should not be playing point. So somebody that could just come in and run their offense would make a ton of sense.
Oh, also, Dewar can like handle the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's where the intrigue comes from, I think.
Who's the 57th pick? Chat.
57?
Yeah. Is
Oh,
still
who
Orlando?
has it? I thought you said who was.
Did Orlando trade it, is the question. Orlando hasn't really made any draft trades, though, right? So
I thought they traded one of their picks earlier.
did they trade it to Memphis in that Bain trade? Memphis
No,
has
they
56.
They traded up. Did they trade up into the 30s in this draft?
Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, does Boston have it? Boston has it. Shout out to Tristan. I love this game. Where'd the pick go? The Celtics. I
hate this.
You hate what?
In the second round, I hate this game. Shout out to
It's
those
kind
of
of
you
fun.
like Tristan who are helping us.
Oh, who just got taken, by the way, because I did not see it. Could we draft Cal Raleigh? He does everything else. Maybe he can play basketball too. Yeah. Yeah, let's draft Cal Raleigh. Tui went 52 to I forgot who was on 52. Who's at 52? Golden State? Yeah, Tui to Golden State. Alex Tui. Was committed to Gonzaga and then decommitted, so you know, that's why he got drafted so low.
I'm running into a bit of an issue here, Tori.
That's fine. It's almost over. What's the issue, though?
50 and 51, Kobe Sanders, Mohamed Diawara were not on the list.
No, you can just leave it blank then. They should have been on the list. I think I made them. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, next year that'll all be flushed out. We have like all year to mess with it. We can maybe even use it for like mock off season draft. It'd be kind of fun actually.
I started typing in the names, but neither one came up. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I figure it's bound to happen. Tried to have 100 names, but maybe I didn't get that far.
Proposed trade to Golden State. I'm at 52. That's another. I like Tui to Golden State, man. That's a good pick.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Bulls have 55. Chat, let me know if I'm right or wrong. Only 59 picks in this draft. At least there's not 58 like there has been the past couple of years. Can't wait till we get back to 60 picks. Maybe the NBA should oh, I'll say it after this pick.
With the 53rd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select John Tonje from the
Tonje.
University of Wisconsin.
He was in your top 49, right? Or was he not? Really good scorer at Wisconsin last year. Kind of broke out in his 4th year in college.
Yeah, I had him at 47, so
He's draftable according to Eric.
just inside.
He's a draftable player. Wing that can score.
What pick was that? 53?
53 to Utah. So now we got 54 on the clock, which is Indiana. Ryan Nemhard. Better be Ryan Nemhard.
Yeah, I felt like Tonje really stepped up as the go-to guy there on Wisconsin this year. And, yeah, just a tough player. Kind of feel like they have a similar guy in Bryce Sensabaugh already, but
58 are Cavs. Did the Suns end up trading the 59th pick, or do they still have that one too?
they traded it. That's also Warriors,
Got you, that's right.
unless they retraded it. But
That is correct. You win the game. Wouldn't Indiana just
that was
want to just let Nemhard go and draft it and sign him? I mean, why don't they just draft him?
it's easy when the trades happen prior to the draft and they're announced like in their own tweet.
Yeah.
by Shams. I only have one player left on my
And that's Salas.
yeah.
Could get a third Florida guard drafted here because Will Richard is the top player on Billis's board. Oh, yeah, Eisen Almanza. Some team is going to draft Eric Dixon, right?
Ugh. Dude, I saw some people that had Dixon's so high in their first round, like almost lottery. It's
Twitter
like,
boards.
No, like actual
Really?
like draft people, but
Just people that overvalue how a player played in college and don't care about fit at all.
yeah.
Yeah. There's always those people.
Poison Ivy asked, "Do you think Brea is going to be good?" All I heard is he can shoot. I mean, that's pretty much what he does. He's a lights out shooter, but he's elite at that one skill. I don't think he's like terrible. Otherwise, he just doesn't have elite skills in any other really facet. But
I think it's a good
you
pick.
guys who could shoot. Yeah, I think it's a good pick too. Yeah.
Like, he could be this year's Sam Hauser, basically. Is the
What do you mean the uprisen? Who has the most correct picks between Eric and Torres? What does that even mean?
like big boards? I think. I don't know. Like, if anything, you may be a little bit better high in the draft, and I might nail a few more sleepers. But I also have my misses. I think we're pretty similar though. Like, I feel like I haven't nailed a sleeper in a while. This year's draft though, like my sleeper, my guy that I would have went down swinging with, withdrew. So my
Same with
deep sleeper, Avdalis, was the guy I was gonna go down swinging with, man.
Yeah.
Now he's at Virginia Tech.
I wasn't like super early, but I was earlier than most on Bennett Stewart, so that was my guy.
Yeah.
And then
All these guys are just going to be in future drafts, though, which is going to be wild.
yeah, Yoxel would have been in my top 10 if he.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Coward, I guess, is my guy. All right, the Indiana Pacers selection is a guy I've never heard of. They did it. The NBA did it. They got a draft pick on some dude I've never heard of. Talon Peter. Talon Peter. Don't even bother trying to put his name in, Eric. Have you heard of Talon Peter, Eric?
Taylor.
Taelon Peter. They did it, man. They did it. Some years we know everything.
Oh
Some...
no, that's yeah. He's a guard from Liberty.
Yeah, I don't remember. I barely watched that game in March Madness because they were my upside pick, and Oregon destroyed him.
Yeah, I remember watching him in that game, but I did not scout
That's
him.
That's a name I've definitely seen before, but just forgot about.
They picked a guard. It wasn't Nemard. I can't believe that.
I don't understand that either. I think that is ridiculously dumb.
All right, that's the first and probably going to be the only one that wasn't in my top 75. What pick was that?
That's 54. We got the Bulls on the clock at 55. I guessed that they had this pick correctly. We love that. We love that. I'm going to try and finish these graphics. All right.
Someone had asked, Kanan Dune asked where Young was on my board. I had him at 26, which is higher than a lot of people.
I had him like 37, 38.
Yeah. I was actually pretty high on him, I thought. I was not Joe Cronin high on him.
I wonder how high up he was on their board. I'm kind of scared to know, actually. Was he in the top 10 on their board? The Chicago Bulls select Lachlan Olbrich out of Australia, MBL, played at Cal State Fullerton, I think his 1 year in college. What's the NZNBL? He was the MVP of that, apparently. I don't know what that means. Is that New Zealand National Basketball League? UC Riverside. I knew it was one of those California schools. That was the last pick. That was the Bulls at 55. All right, go ahead.
What league is better between the Chinese league and the European league? The Spanish league is considered the second best league.
Yeah.
So Cronin, like, I don't think this is necessarily true, but Cronin almost made it seem like they didn't even have a board. They just wanted his.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't care who was on the board or have a board necessarily. It was just, let's get Young.
Yeah. For real. Kind of scary.
I wonder how much. I mean, they would never admit this, and it doesn't sound like they had anyone on their mind except for Young.
Mm-hmm.
But if Demon doesn't go ahead of them at 8, do they consider taking him at 11? I don't know. It doesn't seem like they would have, but it really seems like they just get locked on one guy and Yeah. Which is a bad way to draft.
It really
very
is.
yeah.
Like, if it's a guy you love and it's like the proper range, sure, but we need new ownership to hold the front office accountable, and hopefully we get that. Like, thank goodness the team is for sale. That's the only saving grace with anything right now at this point.
Do you Jaden's asking this question. Do you have a favorite year where you like study prospects and
Favorite year that what?
that you studied prospects, like a certain draft that stands out for you? It's like you really
The Zach Collins draft, the 2017 draft.
yeah, that one came to mind too. And then was it the next year or the year after the Luka draft?
I don't know. I don't
Just the year
remember.
after, I think.
I just remember it was fun because we had 15, 20, and 26 going into that draft, and then
Yeah.
we drafted Zach Collins and Caleb Swanigan with those picks when there was a ton of talent all over the first round. Rest
Yeah, I
in
really
peace
like.
to Caleb.
I mean, the 2012 had a lot of bad players in it too, but I like that draft too.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year. That was the year Chad Buchanan was our interim GM. And I got to listen to a whole conversation poolside.
What do you mean?
My mom that year won a trip to Arizona to watch the Blazers play Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And she brought me, which was awesome. And we stayed at the team hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I had. You might not. I might not have ever told this story, but Barrett and Rice were talking during the game about Rice talking to me at the bar, and of course, like Barrett was like, "Of course, it was at the bar for you," and like whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Oh, so that's probably the reason you're so mad when they got fired.
no, I mean, yeah, it was
I'm
fun.
kidding.
Anyways, the day like before the game, Buchanan and like all the like his assistant GMs and scouts and stuff were all there. And I was sitting, my mom and I were sitting poolside just listening to him talk about the draft for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then everyone left
Mm-hmm.
but Chad. And like I was really nervous, but then I got the nerve to like say hi and like talk to him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. Ended up talking to him for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, he actually said he like didn't want to actually be the GM moving forward at the time. I don't know if that ever changed or whatever, but he said he was more comfortable just being a head scout.
Do you realize what's happening with this pick right now? Did you see how long Memphis was on the clock? And then Shams just said this pick is in talks about being traded right now. The clock expired like 2, maybe 3 minutes ago.
So can the next team go pick?
Is the clock for real or is it not? Because they've been on the clock for forever.
But anyways, because people always say, "Oh," because he was the one who made the Gerald Wallace for the pick that ended up being Dame trade earlier that season.
Yeah,
and like everyone was saying, like he's with the Pacers right now, him and Pritchard, and obviously doing a great job. But everyone was saying he should have gotten that job full time. Like, is that when we hired Rich Cho? No, that's when we hired Olshey. Never mind. Cho was before Buchanan. That's right. But anyways, Yeah, so he was saying he didn't really want the pressure of being the GM at the time under
Where's
Paul
this
and
pick
stuff. And
going, chat? Because Champs just talked, but I didn't hear it.
Warriors picking here.
They move up from 59. All right, the Warriors. Who did the Warriors really want?
We have another trade to announce. As part of a deal to be finalized later, the Phoenix Suns are trading to the Golden State Warriors the draft rights to Alex Tui, the 52nd pick. With the 56th
They're
pick
going
in
to
the
take Golden.
2025 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Will Richard from the University
Another
of
Florida guard. It would have been funny if the Golden State Warriors took Vladislav Golden, but they did not.
They were like, screw that, it's spelled the wrong way. So
Will Richard's a fun player, man. Like, just strong-bodied, three-point shooter. Kind of has a weird shot, but it goes in. He can hit step backs. He can hit threes off the dribble. Like, ball skills aren't really there at the NBA level for a guard. But he's competitive. He, can rebound a little bit. He definitely has an NBA body and is a shot maker. So
yeah.
I think at this point you got two players left on the board that I think absolutely should be drafted. You got Ryan Nembhard and you got Hunter Salas.
Yeah. Get either on a two-way if they don't.
Yep.
Yeah. I first asked him like how he even became like involved with scouting, like how it worked, and he said that him and Pritchard and Penn were all friends. Like I forget if it was from high school or college or something. I don't think they went to the same college. So I think it was prior to. They all grew up in the Midwest somewhere, I think, and then they said Pritchard. Obviously, Pritchard. I think he was drafted in the NBA. I don't know if he really played in the NBA or not, but like he had some like connections because he was a good player. I think he played for Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. But like, so they kind of said that he just kind of like just by being friends with him, they got like a chance to do some stuff, and then they got better at it, and eventually became scouts. And Tom became like a salary cap assistant GM type guy.
Yep.
But yeah.
Who's your guess here for Boston at 57? I'm guessing Hunter Salas to be there. Well, I mean, he's the 57th pick, but like, if he's the steal of the second round, maybe he could be a little bit of a light man's Drew, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nembhard. Jackson Robinson could get drafted here. Be interesting to see if a team like bets on the college production of Eric Dixon or not. RJ Lewis Jr. felt like he had like mid-second round buzz until he had that stinker in the NCAA tournament and he fell off boards.
You know who feels like a Boston player?
Who? Grant Nelson.
Yes. Exactly. Yep. Jinx.
If they take him, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
We have another trade to announce. As part of a deal to be finalized later, the Los Angeles Lakers are trading to the Chicago Bulls the draft rights to Lachlan Olbrich, the 55th pick. With the 57th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Max Shulga from Kyiv, Ukraine.
That was the other guy I was going to say.
That's the other guy that should have been drafted with Nembhard and Salas. I like Shulga. He's a solidly sized shooting guard that he can do a little bit of everything. He can pass a little bit. He can shoot a little bit. 39% from three, 15 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. Led VCU to the NCAA tournament. They lost in the first round to Yegor Demon and BYU. He is, I don't know, like he's not an NBA athlete. So can he actually create shots for himself and others at this level? Is he going to be a good enough shooter to really rely upon that and then play and flow off closeouts, that sort of stuff? I don't know, but I do think value-wise it is a pretty good pick here at the very end of this draft. He's somebody I brought up mid-season as like a deep sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm bummed they didn't take Grant Nelson.
Now that he's on Boston, he's going to be somewhat okay.
Yeah. No, watch. He'll be like a 10th, 11th man. Like he'll crack the rotation on some nights. Maybe not this year, but like in a couple years, it just feels like Boston gets value out of their late picks. Although they didn't get value out of my guy Anton Watson, so who knows? Although I was not high on Anton Watson.
That was a wasted pick at the time, still is.
Yeah, I mean a lot of second round picks end up becoming wasted.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, true.
So you got Cleveland on the clock. What was the guard they took?
They got Proctor, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess Salas wouldn't make as much sense, but I would have liked Salas for them too.
I think Salas is more of a two guard.
There's no like center depth on the board, which would make some sense for them.
I mean, they could get Golden.
Yeah, Golden
Almost kind of like poor man's Jared Allen. I don't know.
Who is?
Maybe like Almanza.
Yeah. Bryce Williams, maybe.
I know. I do this all the time, but I think this is a really good spot for Coleman Hawkins.
Yeah, let's see some Coleman Hawkins, man. I already know who the Blazers are going to sign to a 2A, actually. I just realized.
Who's that?
Isaac how do you say his last name? Nogius?
Oh,
the guy who
yeah.
played with the remix?
Yeah.
Be ready for that. I will be, like, not excited at all.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I'd rather have a player I've never heard of. No offense to that guy. He's probably better than a player I've never heard of, but I don't know. Like, if their two-way signing is more expected than their first-round pick, like, that's kind of backwards. Had a first-round grade on Anton Watson. Yeah, I mean, Anton just...
Why?
He's a little undersized for the 4 and not really a shooter. Like, he's a very smart player and, like, good team player and does some intangible things well, but just what's his role at the NBA level? I think you can see Jackson Robinson go here. So the 52nd pick has been like a good player for 3 years in a row, and this year it was Alex Tui. So. And this year it was Golden State again, trading for it. From Phoenix, who had it with Tamani and then traded to us. Wait, Phoenix had 52nd, traded it, or drafted Tamani, traded it to us. Okay. And then last year, we got 52nd and then traded it to Golden State. They took Quentin Post. And then this year, Phoenix had 52nd again and ended up trading it, and it ended up in Golden State again and ended up being Alex Tui, who we were linked to. We're in this weird little love triangle.
Cavaliers that are on the clock.
All right, we'll see who the Cavs take.
With the 58th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Saliou Niang from Dakar, Senegal, and Italy's Trento.
All right. I've heard of him. Don't know a whole lot about him, but this is a stash pick that might never play in the NBA, although he is there. Got drafted. Do you know much about him?
No,
He led Aquila, Basket, Trento in rebounds per game at 5.1 as a guard. Whatever that means.
I started watching a little bit on him. Yeah.
It's funny some of these players at the end of the draft were like, this seems like they don't know what to say, so they're just like, his strength is versatility.
That's the guy who is this the guy who no, maybe it's not. There was is it Basketball Without Borders or something, that tournament that like Shamshay played in last year and did really well. Maybe Chad can help me out because you're obviously not. Anyways, there was like a tournament and there was someone this year who was like, I don't think it was him though, but there was someone who was someone's got to be able to help me out, chat. Someone like dominated the tournament. He was a guard, but he was kind of undersized, like 6 feet tall or something. And
I'm forgetting to update. All right, this is Memphis's pick, so I'll just put Memphis on the clock. I do like the setup much better than the last one, even though it's like not like the full stage. Is it the?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just a lot emptier. It has to be something
better than being in the studio or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the full stage. What am I talking about? So, but it's better. It's like the same lighting, it's same kind of feel, and there is some like fans, and there's Spike Lee was there, so it's better.
The second round's been very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Bro, if we sign freaking Eric Dixon to a 2.
All right, we'll preface it again. If Eric Dixon is the Blazers' two-way signing, we will rage. Okay? Even though it doesn't even deserve rage because it's a two-way, but we're just prefacing it, okay? We're just prefacing it. No Eric Dixon to a two-way. If Cronin wants to piss us off and make people mad that we're raging about a two-way, he will sign Eric Dixon to a two-way contract. Here we go. Final pick of the draft. Memphis. Who's a Memphis player, Eric? Izan Almansa is.
Before I announce today's final pick, I want to congratulate all these young men and their families. Thank you to ESPN for broadcasting the second round of the draft, and to our partners around the world for your continued support. And thank you to all of you, the NBA fans watching today. We look forward to the start of NBA Summer League in Las Vegas on July 10th. With the 59th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Jemai Meshack from the University
Meshack
of
gets
Tennessee.
drafted.
Good night, everyone.
Good for him. That's cool that Meshack got drafted. Played at Tennessee, had a sick buzzer beater last year, man. Do you remember that buzzer beater he hit? A super deep three. Like he he took over that game defensively late, if I recall correctly. Not really a scorer, but a really good defensive player. I don't know what he shot last year from three, but it was a fun player at Tennessee.
I was actually looking
Wait,
at that up.
Blazers Shams tweet, Caleb Love two-way to Portland? That's the other guy. That's the other guy that would have been in that group with Eric Dixon. We've been roasting Caleb Love for years. For years. Cronin was like, we can't make it too obvious.
At least we got a rookie, I guess.
Wow. All right.
So, dude, okay. Before I read any comments, Tori, I know like a lot of people will know that's not great, but I guarantee you we see some people being like, Caleb Love's awesome. That's such a good pickup. You know,
we're going to start watching Caleb Love highlights. Oh, God. Caleb Love highlights look really good. They're going to see that like half-court buzzer beater he hit last year and like, look at the way this guy scores. He could be our Ant replacement. I'm ready, man.
I will say thank you for actually getting an undrafted rookie at the draft. Like,
but they do love this archetype of like,
not like a
shot-chucking guard that doesn't defend or pass.
Why, though? Like, that goes against everything they've...
Yeah. I don't
Like
know.
maybe Hunter Salas didn't want to come here or something, but like, why wouldn't you go
I
after
know.
him?
I know.
Or why
Yeah.
don't you still go after him?
Yeah. Hunter Salas.
I mean,
Nice
they do.
vibes.
I mean,
That's so funny. That's Caleb Love.
we all know Banton's probably gone, so they do need like someone who can handle the ball, maybe in case Drew or because we really don't have anything besides Drew and Scoot, right? I mean, we got guys who could maybe play it for a game or two, but
Yeah.
like,
Love equals Banton 2.0. Yeah, just like 3 inches shorter and shoots more threes. Chucky Hepburn
like
is
my
agreed
dad.
to a two-way contract with the Raptors. That's pretty solid. Okay, I got to get this quote tweet out before people watch his highlights. Oh no. The Caleb Love highlights go hard, and the narratives are about to be insane.
He is incredibly streaky. Like he can
Cronin.
get super hot, and
So if Young's the next Jokic, Caleb Love is the next.
Jordan Clarkson, I don't know.
No, you gotta go much higher than that.
Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford. I don't
No, I'm thinking Steph Curry.
know. Yeah.
like if
Aaron Dixon 2-8 to the Lakers. I hate that too for them.
Mm-hmm.
My other team.
Cronin got the next Lillard. Yeah, there you go.
Kyrie.
Oh God. Caleb Love. You should have said Caleb Love, man, because we have been roasting him for a while.
Yeah. Hey man, I actually had Caleb Love at 57 on my rankings because I didn't have anyone else.
So that's a good move.
Yeah.
That's a good sighting.
You
According
got
to
a top
Aaron.
60 player.
It's zero upside. I mean, the dude can score, but like he talked about when he worked out with Portland, he talked about rounding out his game more and like being more of like a complementary piece. But like this dude just screams G League scoring guard that has. He's going to have some games in Summer League that are going to get people hyped up on him as like a legitimate piece of the core, just like Antonio Blakeney did. It will happen. He can score, but he's not an NBA level volume scorer. He's just not. And then everything else is a major negative at the NBA level. And he's like 23 years old. Okay.
Almost
So
24.
yeah, almost 24. So that is what's going to happen with this. Cronin seems to like the archetype that archetype. I mean, James Bouknight, Bryce McGowan's, now Caleb Love. He's Bryce McGowan's with more aura. I mean, I guess that's. If we're
Someone
gonna have,
said
I would
that,
rather have him than Bryce McGowan's on the two-way. I'll be honest.
Someone said he has no upside. I mean, he's a rookie. Like everyone.
Yeah, two-way signing in a weak draft, like, and can
Has
score.
some upside.
Like it's not. Here's the thing. It's not a. There's no such thing as a bad two-way signing in this year's draft. They could sign Eric Brand. It wouldn't even be a bad two-way signing. It's just funny that it's.
He might be. And that would be a bad one. Shut up.
The only reason why I dislike the signing real quick is because of the way people will react to his highlights over the next 48 hours. And
he's gonna have some monster games on the remix. I mean, people just ignore all the 1 for 15 games. But, but he's gonna have a couple like 30-point, 10 assist games, and like just maybe even summer league. And I mean, the dude can play. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not like pissed off. I'm actually happy. It is weird that he's 24 because I was gonna say this before the signing started. I wish I did, but I was gonna say I don't care who it is as long as they're under 25 years of age. Unlike our previous uses of the two ways. Better than Delano. I mean, they're not even the same type of player, but like, yeah.
I mean, they
Salas
last year.
Philly.
Nice Philly. Last year, Caleb Love in 34 minutes a game as he was their point guard, right? Or did they have a more traditional point next to him? And was he?
No, he
for the
played.
beginning?
He was their
he was their
point, yeah.
point guard. So as their point guard last year at Arizona, in 34 minutes a game, Caleb Love averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. 3.5 assists as a point guard. Okay, he shot 39.8% from the field, 34% from three. For his career, he shot 34% or worse from three in 4 out of 5 seasons. He had a season he shot 29.9% as a junior at North Carolina. Even though he shot under 30%, he shot 7.5 a game in college, which is crazy. For his college career, he shot 32.6% from three and 38% from the field, and averaged 3.4 assists in 33 minutes per game. Basically, he can get hot for a game and look really impressive, so his highlight tapes are going to look absolutely amazing, and people are going to get drawn into that. But on a game-by-game basis, you cannot rely upon him. Arizona could not rely upon him even at the college level on a game-by-game basis. Like, sometimes he would be the best player on the floor, and sometimes he would literally be the worst. You never know what you're going to get. I just don't think he's a good enough shooter. He's not efficient enough. That's what I mean. Like, he's a volume scorer that doesn't really do much of anything else, and is just not efficient enough, even at the college level, really, let alone the NBA level. So,
Mark Sears to the Milwaukee Bucks.
of course, Torrey could find a way to hate on an undrafted two-way signing. Here's the thing. If I was hating on him before Cronin signed him, can I still do it? Because I've said this stuff about Caleb Love before this year. Like, it's fine. It's a two-way signing. There's no such thing as a bad two-way signing. I'm not even saying it's a bad signing. I'm just talking about who he is as a player. I'm just reading off the facts, the stats. This is what I said before. Like, this is what I said before. This is what I would have said if the Blazers never signed him and you asked me about Caleb Love. So, yeah. This is not my first time talking this way about Caleb Love.
Yeah, we've talked about him before on our channel. Someone said he's ex-Brandon Williams. That's actually a great.
Yeah.
He's a little bigger, stronger.
I mean, Brandon Williams had some good moments this year, so if that would actually be a good case scenario.
But that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the type of player Caleb Love is.
Yeah.
He is good enough to have those moments where he has a monster game, and you're like, "Holy crap, this guy's really good!" And then he'll have a bunch of stinkers.
Yeah, exactly. How'd the AFK Blazers sign a two-way? Yeah, Caleb Love. But that's the thing. It's funny when it's like, it's funny when Cronin does stuff that, like, you know, he'll sign the two-way player that we've roasted for an entire year. You know what I mean? Like, he just finds a way. He just finds a way. I'm happy they signed an undrafted free agent. I don't care about this two-way spot. I really don't. Like, it's whatever. But yeah, I have just never really been a fan of Caleb Love as a player.
Yeah,
He's exciting when he's on, but outside of that, and just don't get sucked into watching highlight tapes. You got to watch a player beyond just his highlight tapes to have a legitimate opinion on a player.
Just a side note, 2 years in a row, the Philadelphia 76ers have signed to a two-way who I had as the best-ranked undrafted player, and they hit on Justin Edwards last year, and Hunter Salas again this year. I think will be a similar type player that'll eventually make their actual roster. They've been doing a really good job, whether it's Will Council or whatever, or Ricky Council. Sorry, they've been finding some players on those two ways. Good job to them.
It's a great signing. Great signing. I would have been hyped if they got Hunter Salas on it too.
Yeah. Keep letting us know if there's other ones.
Yeah, appreciate you, chat. I take it from the reactions we aren't a fan of Caleb Love. I've never been a fan of Caleb Love, but whatever.
He's the ultimate shot chucker who does like inefficient shot chucker. Is like like if you could design inefficient shot chucker that thinks he's like the next Kobe, like it's Caleb Love.
Yeah. Yep. I can't wait for his Antonio Blakeney run this summer league, man. It's gonna be cinema.
Tyler
Mark
J
Sears to
says,
Milwaukee. Yeah, that's right.
do you think the fact that Young was at the draft but not on the main floor proves that he knew Cronin was going to take him? No, I think that happens all the time. Every year there's like an international player that's sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
You saw it tonight too. But no, I think he was just at the draft because the international players, when they come over here, they don't really, even if they're projected, second round picks or whatever, they don't have anywhere else to be, like that's not like they can have a draft party at their house or something or invited to the green room. Maybe he thought he was going to go in the first round. Maybe. I don't think you can read anything into that. It happens all the time. He is entertaining. I'll give you that, Andrew.
He might get people to go to G League.
Dang, Golden to Miami.
Good
Dang it.
signing. Golden to Miami? Nice.
That's a good spot for him. It's a good spot for Yakachonis too. Dang it.
Somebody find the clips of when we roasted Caleb Love earlier in the season. Trevin, where are you?
Caleb Love, he'll definitely have some games that are fun to watch on the remix. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play. Like that's not like he's some scrub that shouldn't be in the NBA or something. But like, dude, I woke up this morning feeling so crappy.
After the pick?
No, like health wise, like I just felt super sick this morning.
Yeah, it was kind of sad today.
Got to work all day, being sick, and then luckily I'm not. I'm knock on wood. I'm gonna jinx myself. I only had a couple coughing fits and like haven't coughed too much, but it's like feels like it's coming, Have you guys ever been to a remix game? I have not, but one Torrey Jones has been to one.
When they played the Ignite. What? What does this tweet mean? What? I was really confused for a second. But this is from Underdog WNBA, not Underdog NBA. Portland franchise fires team president Inky Sun.
We already fired our president before we even got a team.
Also, our president's name is Inky Sun.
Or are we the Portland Fire?
Why did we fire our president already?
Portland Fire. Maybe that's like I don't know.
Shake up at top of Portland's WNBA franchise raises serious questions about expansion team's future. What? Maybe the Fire is the right name for Portland's WNBA expansion team after all. Helps to describe the five-alarm chaos that is unfolding before the franchise has even announced a color scheme. Less than 3 weeks before the expected launch of an official brand identity, the franchise, which is supposed to start play in 10 months, is now without its top executive. Employee number 1 is out. Inky's son, who was hired at the beginning of the April, has been fired, leaving the franchise without a leader in its most prominent and visible role.
Can they really quickly patent the name Portland Dumpster Fire instead of? Because that also fits Portland. Mm-hmm.
So by contrast, or let's see, the stunning ouster comes after what sources had described as a significant growing pains amid a rocky rollout for the expansion team. Sun did not respond to either voice or text messages left on her cell phone Thursday evening. Examples of team revising course on such a key position so soon after making the hire hard to find and might be unprecedented in circumstances such as these. An expansion team so near showtime. Suns' sudden ouster raises significant questions about Portland's WNBA launch, which has already been seen as far behind schedule. Only in recent weeks has the team begun hiring support staff, and the franchise remains without a general manager. By contrast, the Toronto Tempo, which was announced as an expansion 4 months before Portland, hired general manager Monica Wright Rogers in February and announced its brand identity close to 18 months before basketball would start bouncing. Some sources expressed hope that the franchise's stumble will serve as a wake-up call to siblings Lisa Bothell Mirage and Alex Bothell about the stakes of building a WNBA franchise in Portland and what it will take to do so successfully. So the reason why I'm reading this off is because that family was linked as a potential Blazer buyer, but probably might be best for that not to be the next ownership group, it sounds like.
Yeah. Nemhard to the Mavs. Hunter Dickinson to the Nets.
Hunter Dickinson. Nemhard to the Mavs. Nice. They get some ball handling depth.
Eli John Ajayi to the Hawks.
Rather have Love than Dickinson. I agree.
There you go. Now we can.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not joking. Like, the Blazers do need some guard depth. Like,
Yeah.
Dickinson to the Pelicans, according to Sham, says Connor. Is Connor wrong or the? Oh, yeah.
Somebody else
No.
before said Dickinson to Nola. Where'd you see Nuggets
I said Nets, but
or Nets?
I was reading Landon again. Oh man, Landon. 2 days in a row with the top 20 protected first, and now Dickinson to the Nets got me twice.
Oh man.
Gonna have to start flagging your post.
I heard on the radio there's a chance a new owner would move the team. Okay, what radio station were you listening to, Brian?
No, you're good, Landon. We're just teasing you. I know you just typed it wrong.
If you're a chat commenter and we jokingly roast you, don't take it seriously. 1080. Okay, yeah. I mean, they have a host that like is the apologist for this current regime, so I mean, it kind of makes sense. Take that show with a grain of salt.
Anyways, it's very unlikely. I actually heard an interview with Hankins the other day, and he was saying that that was one of the reasons why they wanted to redo the lease with the city. Was that last year or 2 years ago? Because he wanted to make sure they were locked in for at least the foreseeable future. But I mean, you can't promise anything, but anyone worried about it, it's like, so what? The new owner's going to buy the team and then just decide they're going to move to another city? Like, the NBA is just going to go along with it after all the blowback they got from the OKC Seattle version of that? They're just going to go through all that again. Like,
One of the top two destinations you would relocate to are going to get expansion teams.
And no other city is really close to being what Portland has right now. Say what we will about fans or whatever, but like, I mean, Portland's got the support of fans. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that wraps up the NBA draft. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Leave a like on the stream. We appreciate it. Subscribe as well. We're going to have free agency live stream on Monday. You got that day off, correct?
I don't have it off, but it doesn't start till, 3 Eastern?
I thought it started at noon.
I'm going to try my best to get as much of my work done on. I can do some of my stuff on Sunday. I can't do all of it. But,
Oh yeah, it does begin at 3. So I'll like probably go live at 2.
Yeah.
I'll just prep it. I'll just prep it this weekend.
I will try my best to be home by 2.
Yeah. So we'll start at 2. We'll talk about it. Then we'll have free agency start, and we'll see what happens. If there's a trade stream this weekend, we'll go live. Probably going to preview this. Do a free agency preview Sunday night. So make sure you tune in on Sunday night. We'll preview that. That's if we don't have a trade. If we have a trade like Saturday night, we might just stream then and then stream Monday. So just, if there's any Blazer news, be on the lookout for your boys here at Blazers Uprise. But the Blazers, they don't trade into the second round. They trade down, get what sounds like an unprotected Orlando first, 2 seconds, and 16 to draft Young Hansen. After they pass on Cedric Coward, we'll see how good Cedric Coward becomes, man. That was my guy. So.
Yeah, got to see him in a Blazer hat, though.
Yeah. Start thinking of the weirdest Jeremy Grant or DeAndre Ayton trades, because that might be what happens next for the Blazers. They're having a weird offseason so far, but.
Or like last year, you draft Donovan Clingan, you trade for Denny Avdia, and you call it an offseason. Don't sign a single person. Don't make another trade, even though everyone thinks you should. Would that surprise anyone if that's what happens this offseason? If our whole offseason is Drew Holiday and Young Hansen.
And our only free agent signing is Caleb Love. Yeah, if they don't do anything else this offseason.
I mean, 2 ways are different, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I'm just saying, they will get roasted. They will get roasted if they have nothing else to do this offseason. So hopefully we get a trade stream soon. Going to be hard to move Ayton, absolutely. It's going to be even harder to move Jeremy Grant, but their roster kind of makes no sense right now. They have 5 centers. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the Blazers do next.
Dang you, Tyler J. Got to work me up before we end this stream.
Yep. Anyway.
It just takes 3 words. We shall see. Just you wait.
We're ending the stream. We're out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you again on Sunday if there's no trade. And if there is a trade, we'll go live as soon as we possibly can. And then for agency on Monday. That stream will begin at 2 p.m. Pacific. So hopefully we can catch you for that. Anyway, we are out of here. We will catch you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!